back to Hi-Fi Tech and Entertainment channel. If you are looking for a master SAP UI5, please join my YouTube community. So there you will get early access to these series videos, and also you can download the links for the project code, and whatever the PPT I am presenting here, I will upload that things in the community, and also I will provide you the free materials to practice. And every 2 weeks once I will going to conduct a live session for question and answer session. If you have any doubts, we can clear it there. And on top of that, if you want to some more topics to for the videos, that thing we can discuss in my community. So without wasting our time, in my previous video already I gave you the basic knowledge of SAP Fiori in BTP, and what's the behind of that SAP Fiori and what things will be there. In today's video I will explain you the SAP UI5 concepts. So let's get started. So these are the basic SAP UI5 concepts on Fiori concepts both. So if you see here, the first one is the loading and initializing our SAP UI5 libraries and modelization of SAP UI5 application structure, MVC architecture. Within the MVC architecture, we have views, controls, models, and navigations, data bindings, everything we will come step by step. In today's video, I will explain you how to load the and initialize our SAP UFA scripting, and what's the modelization SAP UFA application, and I will explain you the application structure. If you create application, what files will generate and what is the use of files, and within the files what content is there, everything. So the first is SAP UFI bootstrapping. Here this, if you add this SAP UI5 bootstrapping, it will configure the certain configuration options. On top of that, it will load and initialize the SAP UI5 libraries. It's a typically bootstrapping script tag used to load the sap.ui.code.js file. When the script tag is included in the page, this SAP UI5 runtime will automatically initialized as soon as the script will be loaded, and it will be executed by the browser. This SAP UI5 provides several bootstrapping files for different use cases of SAP UI code.js. It's a standard bootstrap file which is recommended to us for typically use cases, and it also contains the jQuery and jQuery UI position with the minimum required parts of the core library. Here we have a load options. What it will do is it will allows you to fix the version of our bootstrapping. To do this, while assigning the version URL for the SRC attributes. Here we have a configuration options. In the configurations can use it so-called sap.ui.code.configuration. It will supports the different possibility to provide the values for the available configuration options. Among these configuration options, we can set via the bootstrap script tag. For this purpose, the attributes will be added to a script tag which named as the data-sap-ui. On top of this thing is predefined, remaining things we are loading. Within the application script, we will follow some of the to implement an SAP UFA application. How it will work means, just I will show you the things. In my previous video, I showed you just the hello world I maintained in the dev tech and I ran. Now what I am doing is, in this example, a text UI element with the text hello world is instanted with the application script. The text control is taken from the sap.m. library, which is previously loaded via bootstrap script. By calling the placeset method on the instant controller, it is added to a body of the HTML tag For this, the ID of the tag is passed to the playset method. In this example shown, the CSS class of SAP UI body is assigned to the tag via the class attributes. This adds the theme dependent style for displaying the SAP application. This one will practice it now in the bash system. Next, what is the modelization SAP application? This framework provides the built-in support for application modelization. It's instead of defining and loading a larger bundle of JavaScript, an application can split into a smaller parts and then can be loaded at the runtime when they need it. So I will show you the clear understand how the modelization things work. This SAP UI5 application can be divided into a smaller units called modules. This modules is a JavaScript file that can be loaded and executed by the browser. For this module, we will call it as an sap.ui.define methods in the JavaScript. So what it will do is this method it allows you to define the modules and can be loaded the asynchronously. These modules are loaded at runtime only whenever they need it. So there is no rules for that code belongs to a module and what to do. These bundles into a modules can be up to a developer. He can maintain the content as a common theme and it can also includes the function deals with the specific topics and also something you want to add it. That's how our things will work here. In case if you want to do mathematical calculations. Next, the libraries. How the basic library structure will be is the base of the SAP library as in JavaScript and also the CSS libraries. Here we have so many libraries sap.m, sap.ui.layout. Based on your requirement, if it is a form means sap.ui.form, that all library structures we have an API based on your screen, you can load that libraries in our index file. So these are the some of the common libraries we will use maximum. Now sap.ui.commons is deprecated one. Currently we are using only sap.m things. So and how the versions will be maintained in the SAP FI means currently the version is 1.1, 1.13 point something, right? For example, if you see this is the current version 1.32.9. So what it indicates is the first digit of first number specifies the major version name and the second after the dot whatever the two digits it will specifies the minor version name and the last one will specifies the patch version name. For example, if any new controller library will come, it will come as an some complete thing the 1.3.32.01 something. On top of that, if any bug fixes will be there, the patches, if any new libraries will add, it will change the version as 9. After that 10 will come, then 11 will come. So if it is any minor versions scenarios, then it will come as an here it will change. If any completely new thing will add means it will change the first version will be added here. Next, what here we have an SAPFA components. In SAPFA will provides the two types of components will be there. One is the faceless component and UI component. All our developments will comes under the UI component. I mean shell, layout, forms, pages, everything. If the faceless component is nothing but we will use a class of sap.ui.code.component. It doesn't have the user interface. For example, it will serve to deliver the data from the to the backend system, to pass the data to the backend system. That is the faceless component. We will all our developments the UI screen will use it the UI components. The next it goes to the structure, how what's the structure will be there and what things will be there here and what is use of all these things. So directly jump into our bash system, will show you how it will be. So this is our bash system. Once you create any project, the structure will be like this. So once you create the project, what it will, if you expand this defaultly, it will load the node modules. Then here you can see the ui5.aml file, ui5 local.aml file, readme file. Within the readme file, you can see what things we configured. Here if you see, I created an SAP Fiori application. The application name is hello world, and if you use this command, it will start generating the app. Inbuilt, it will loaded some node.js things. This is the basic structure. Here if you want to add, and here also we can see what are the template I used, and if you maintain any service type, that things will be loaded here. If you maintain any service URL, that things will be here. And namespace of the application, namespace is nothing but your component name of the application. We can see here, this is the name I maintain, and UI5 theme, version, libraries, script type. If you want to enable this TypeScript, we can use it, and if you want to add this SLN configuration, we can do this. These things I will explain you what is the use of these things, how to use, I will explain you to the coming videos. First I will explain you the structure of this application. First, if you see here, first I will expand my web app page. Here first I will talk to the index.html page. If you remember, previously I just loaded the title, and within the body I just maintain some hello world tag, and I run the application. Now if you create a Fiori application, the structure looks like this. Here if you see, the bootstrapping is loaded. On top of that, the body tag and the dev tag. I will explain you what it is. First, coming to the doctype.html, it defines the document type of as a HTML file. It tells the browser to render the page by using the HTML5 standards. And also here you can see the language equal to English. So here we are specifying the language as an English. Then within the header tag, we are maintaining the metadata char set of UI5. What it will do is, it will support the most characters in the world, including the symbols. And here we have a metadata name of the viewport and the content. So what it will do is, this width equal to device-width makes the page width and matches the device width, and also initialize equal scale 1.0. It will set the zoom level to the 100%. For that we will use this meta tag. Then the meta tag of this one is, it will ensure the page is displayed by using the latest rendering engine of IE, I mean Edge mode. Then this is the title. We can set the title whatever you want. Then the style is, this is the CSS. If it for your app take up the full height of the screen, this is critical for SAP apps. They are typically use the full screen application. The next one is Bootstrap SAP UI5 framework. Here it's an ID and the SRC file. As I mentioned before, the ID will require for identifying the Bootstrap script, and within the resource file, if you want to maintain the version, for example you want to maintain a version of some, only you want to use the UFA version of 1.6.7, means we can use like this. That particular version if you want to use, you can maintain that. The next one is data-SAP UI-theme. This is the configuration options. This is the theme designing. I set the default theme. This is the latest theme we used. The next, the data is the resource routes. Here this defines the namespace mapping. Hello world is then app namespace dot slash, it indicates the root path. So directly it will go to the same folder. And here if you see SAP UI on in it, here if you see the module, it initializes the component support module automatically after bootstrapping, and it helps automatically loading and starting the component defined in the body tag. Here you can see, this is the component name I defined while creating the application. that will load it here directly. Next, the compact version edge. This enables the compatibility with the latest SAP UI5 feature. For that, it will load. Next, if you see asynchronous true, it loads the asynchronously, which improves our performance. If you want to maintain synchronous, we can maintain it as an false. The next one is the frame option. What it will do is it allows embedding the app is an iframe. Example, the Fiori launchpad. If the parent is trusted, so it will embed that one. The next is an body section. Here it will renders the app. The first, as I told you, SAP UI body applies the SAP UI5 styling, and SAP UI5 size compact makes our UI control will be smaller and useful for desktop usage. And this is the ID to identify the body content. And here if you see within the dev tag, we loaded the sap.ui.components. This tells our SAP UI5 to instance the component, and also next one, it specifies the component name, and within the container it's an ID of the component container and data setting. It passes the ID as a setting to our component. And next one, it enables the automatic form validation handling in the component. This is the body part. So this, in this complete index.html page is the entry point of our SAP UI5 application, whether it's a standalone application or managed router applications. It applies the styling, theming, and it loads the app component. And now go to your component.js file. Here if you see this component.js file, we are loading our models, and here this is the sap.ui.code.ui component. As I said you before, we will for UI designs we'll use this UI component. Just I'm extending it. Here I'm loading the manifest.jsm file and some interfaces. Next, here if you see init function, here we are maintaining the device mode. Based on your device mode, we are maintaining here. Then we are enabling the routing part. This routing part will helps you for the navigations, view to views, the navigation things. To enable the routing, we need to call this. Next, go to our manifest.json file. Here within the manifest.json file, what it's load is, here it will load our app ID and type of the application. Next, this is I18 file. This one, what is the use of these files, I will explain you later. Then application version. First I created, right, the default version comes like this. Then title, description, resources, and whatever the template I choose, that source template version, everything is loaded here. Then the device type, in which devices it has to support, that flexibility, and UI5 version, and the libraries. You can load libraries here or index page. Both pages you can load your libraries. And here the models. I will explain you what is the model, what type of models will be there, that all things. Next, if you want to load our CSS and scripting, we can load it in our resources path. Then as I told you, the routing. This one is for the navigation purpose we will use. This structure will create defaultly when we create an application. Here when we creating an application, the default view is created. The details here it is. I will explain you later what is the target, what is the roots, and the view name type, asynchronous to why we will maintain all these things. I will explain you for the coming videos. These all things will loaded in manifest.json. Next, go to our UI5.aml file. What is this means? Within the UI5.aml file, this give reference to the auto completion and validation supports the editor like Visual Studio. Here you can see the specific version of the UI5 tooling specifications and the metadata.name. This metadata sections defines the name of the project and it should matches the application namespace. If you change it there, here also we need to change. And the type, it will it declares the project is an application, not a library or a module, and it also defines how the UI5 tooling handles. And next, coming to the server, in the server section defines how the local dev server should behave, and also the custom middleware. It's an plugin with extra features for development to live reload and for the proxy things. And next one is the name, and here the UI5 path. It this one is This is a standard UI resource path. Use it when the app refers to the controls and libraries. And this is the URL we maintain. This is defaultly created. This tells the dev server to fetch the resource from the official SAP CDN place. And also it will locally development without downloading any libraries. And here if you see the after middleware, we have this middleware watches your web app folder, and it will reload the app in the browser whenever the changes are detected. What it will do is, if you do a small change in a review without running, I mean what I'm trying to say is, what every time when you run, what we have to do, right click, review the application. Without doing that, in the browser automatically takes the latest one, and the latest changes will update automatically. For that we will maintain this. Next, if you see the configuration, port, path, delay, the port means the port will be used for live reload functionality. The path, this folder been watched for the changes in the web folder. And the delay, it will wait for the every 300 milliseconds before reloading to avoid the rapid reload on frequent waves. If you want to maintain some more, we can maintain it. Finally, we have a Fiori tool preview. This will responsible for starting a Fiori launchpad like preview of your application. It stimulates the app if it's running in the real Fiori environment. And finally, this is the theme. It sets the theme of to preview the environment of the latest model theme. If you use it some other custom theme, we have to define it here. That theme will run. When it comes to locally, this will be the same. The locally it will load all these things. Next, in package.jsn, here these are the commands we are going to use to run the application. To run application locally, you want to generate a build file, deployment without, run the application without launchpad. This is for the test, OPA test cases, unit test cases. And if you want to preview the application, these are the scripts which will load defaultly, and this is the UI5 tooling loads for default. And the package.jsn, in the package.jsn, it will loads the same version, packages, modules, all things. It will load it here. If you see, all the modules are loaded default. What are the modules here? That all things are loaded here. Next, coming to the views, our view will be here. This is the test file, model, I18 file, CSS file, controllers. So when you create application, defaultly all these things will generate it here. Now what I will do is, in my index page, either we can define your UI code here and here. As I said you before, if what we can do is, we can define your UI controller, you can define it here and place it in our body. If you run the application, it will work as usual. So that's how the application structure here. If you have any doubts on this application structure, let me know in the comment section. I will explain you on the topic for the coming videos. So here if you see the application structure, I will in next video I will explain you what is the controller, what is the model, what is the view, how it's interconnected, everything I will explain you to the coming videos. So when you run the application, what it will do is, first it will run our index page. From the index page, it will load our the component. So it will go to our component file. Within the component file, we are loading the manifest.json first. This file will jump it to here. Within the manifest file, our views will be there. So it will navigate to our views, the root view. Here we can see. So what is the view maintained here? That view will load first. That our UI framework will comes under our desktop screen. In that view, whatever things you will define, that will UI frame will user can visualize. So if you like this video is helpful, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Stay tuned for more interesting videos. If you want this application content, please join the Fiori development community, so you will get all these files, documents and PDF things. Thank you for watching, guys.